Hi there everyone, good to see you all again. Now, I've got a great story to tell you today. It's an amazing story, and to be truthful, you see, there are, as you know, many wonderful stories all about Jesus, and you would have thought everybody, and I mean everybody, would have liked Jesus. But they didn't, you know. There are some people that actually did a lot of moaning and complaining about Jesus. Amazing. But these people actually thought they were probably more special than other people. And of course, when Jesus heard this moaning and groaning about him, he actually gathered them around and said, I've got something to tell you. I've got a very interesting story. And that's what he did. But before I tell you the story, we've got to do the rap. So when you're ready, let's open the book. Let's take a look. Let's listen and see how good God can be. Let's take a look. Let's open the book. Let's open the book. Let's take a look. Let's listen and see how good God can be. Let's take a look. Let's open the book. You are getting very good at that. I think I've got some practice to do yet to get it right. Anyway, the story is called The Big Spender. The people who thought they were good were still not happy, as I said about Jesus. They grumbled and they mumbled and they frowned and said things like, it's not fair. Jesus spends all his time with those bad people. Jesus, as I said, heard this and said, gather round. I've got a very important and very interesting story to tell you. So they did, and they listened very carefully to what Jesus was saying. Once upon a time, he said, there was a man, and he had 2 sons, and he loved them both very much indeed. But one day, the younger son came to him with a very sad request. He said, Father, when you die, I will get your money and part of your land, but I don't want to wait. I want it all now. Well, it was all his father could do was hold back the tears on hearing this request. But because he loved his son, he agreed and gave him his share of the money. Well, that very same day, the son left home, money in his pocket with a big smile on his face. He didn't actually even say goodbye to his father or his brother. His father just watched him and wiped away a tear and hoped that one day his son would come home again. Well, Jesus went on. The son travelled to a far-off country and spent all of his money just as fast as he could. He had nothing to show for all the money his father had given him. He had gambled it and he had drank the money away. He was broke. The son didn't know what to do. He'd spent all his father's money. He thought, I know, I will have to get a job. So the son looked round and found a job looking after pigs. But it was very hard and it was very dirty work. He was so hungry at times that he actually thought about eating the pigs' food. He was very miserable now and very lonely and sad. And then one day he had an idea. He thought, the servants that look after my father's animals are far happier than I. Maybe if I go home, my father might, just might, allow me to work for him and maybe look after his pigs. Now, what do you think his father had been doing all this time? Well, did he say to himself, I have my eldest son with me, and who cares about my younger son? If he's gone, he's gone. Of course he didn't, because he loved both his sons very, very much indeed. Well, that's exactly what the son did. He decided to go home and find his father. But he didn't have to look very hard for his father, because his father was standing at the end of the roadside and he was watching for his son like he'd been doing for many, many days. His father spotted his son hobbling home, poor and very hungry indeed. His father ran to his son and hugged him as tight as he could. And his son broke down in tears onto his knees and said, I'm so sorry, Father. I have wasted all your money and I am no longer fit to be your son. Don't be silly, his father said. You are my son. You will always be my son, and I am so glad that you have come home. The father lifted his son and took him home, and then dressed him in some beautiful clothes. He put some gold rings on his finger and then threw him a big welcome home party to say to all of his family, come, our son, my son has come home. But of course, when the eldest son heard that his younger brother had come home, he said, what's happening round here? And when the servants told him that his younger brother had come home, he ran to his father and shouted, that's not fair. He's went out and he spent all your money, Father. How could you forgive him? His father said, listen, I love you both. I love you both because you are my sons and you have enjoyed all the good things I have. But your brother was gone, but now he is back. He was lost, but now he has found. And that is why I'm having this party for your younger brother. I love you both and I forgive you both. And Jesus ended the story just there. Now, if you remember, right at the beginning, I said he told the story in the first place to all these moaners and groaners because they all thought they were something special. You see, Jesus, in his kind of way, was trying to say to these people, God is like the father in the storyline. He doesn't have any favourites. He wants to forgive everyone. And he wants everyone to understand that we all make mistakes, and sometimes we all do wrong things. So, just on reflection from that, what I'd like you to do is close your eyes for about 10 to 15 seconds and think of maybe of a time you can remember where you've made a mistake or done something wrong. Just think about it. Close your eyes. Think about that. I am pretty sure that most of you have come across a time where you've made a mistake or possibly done something wrong. Me too. But never ever forget that God will forgive us. Okay, I am going to say a prayer next, and you know the rules on this one. To make it yours, I'd like you to close your eyes and say Amen at the end. When you're ready, dear God, thank you for being like the forgiving Father in today's story. Thank you that just like the Father, you are always willing to forgive us if we truly sorry. Amen. Well, thank you very much for listening, and I really look forward to seeing you next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.